The World of Color is one of the most spectacular and popular shows at the Disneyland Resort. But there's most definitely some things you should know and questions I get asked all the time about this show. But don't worry, I have all the answers and details for you today, so let's get started. The World of Color is a show done in evenings nearly every night of the week. The only time it is not put on is if the park is closing early for a special event like the Oogie Boogie Bash during Halloween time, or if it's being fixed or worked on for some reason. Other than that, you'll usually be able to catch it any night of the week, and it will be a stunning display of water fountains, lighting effects, projections, and music, choreographed in amazing unison, showcasing many of Disney's most popular movies and characters. Right now, it's called World of Color 1 and follows the theme and idea that it only takes one person or one idea to make a big impact on the world. There's both touching and heartwarming moments as well as fun and exciting ones. And if you happen to be visiting mid-November to early January, you'll get the opportunity to see the Christmas-themed show in place of World of Color 1. I personally wouldn't miss either one of these shows. The World of Color is a must-see show for me every time I visit the parks. Now, World of Color can only be seen at Disney California Adventure Park, so of course you'll need a valid ticket and reservation to enter that park if you want to see this show, with most nights having a 9 p.m. show and a 10:15 show. So if you're planning on catching this show, remember to pace yourself throughout the day. Many people will hit the parks so hard in the early part of the day that they won't have any energy left come 9 p.m. and then they leave the park before any of these awesome night shows even begin. But the late hours of the days and the night shows are my favorite, so I highly suggest saving some energy for it. The World of Color is free to anyone who is in the park, or maybe I should say the price is covered in the cost of your ticket. Although there are options to pay extra money for added experiences connected to the show that will get you preferred viewing spots as well. I'll explain exactly what those are and the details of them in the next section. Now for the super fun part. There's many ways to see this show, and I'm about to tell you all the details of every single one of them, so buckle up. Let's start with the no extra cost, no extra steps needed general public viewing areas. These are the areas that are available without having to make any reservations or pay any extra money to view the show. Now, it's important to note that World of Color is a standing space only show, meaning there's not sitting unless in an area that has chairs or benches, but there's not a ton of those, so plan on standing. The general viewing areas are basically wherever you can find a spot that's not roped off, which are usually the outer parts of the Paradise Bay area. The best spots are if you can get a spot in the first 2 rows, either in front of the little garden area there, like the main planter. But you can also stand in front of the Little Mermaid ride. Just know that you'll probably have people walking in front of you now and then, but it's still a decent place to view the show. Now, you can also view the World of Color from the back on Pixar Pier, with the area by the Poultry Palace probably being the best. Now, you are viewing it from the back, so you're not totally getting the full show, but that actually may be a good thing for some who may be sensitive to the crowded and loud experience from some of the other areas. In fact, during World of Color, it is one of the most peaceful and quiet times to be in the Pixar Pier area. With all of these areas, I would highly suggest sending a representative from your group to hold a space 30 minutes to 1 hour before the show starts to ensure a spot where you can actually see the show, especially if any of you are short. Speaking of short, let's review some quick show view etiquette. basically, you just want to remember that there's people behind you trying to see the show as well. So tie your balloons down low. Only put your kiddos on your shoulders if you know you're on the back row and there's nobody else behind you. Otherwise, hold them on your hip. And if you want to record the show, hold your device in front of your face, not up above your head. You'd be surprised with how much that fluorescent light box of a phone distracts and blocks the view of others behind you. So long story short, be mindful of others and be kind, and when you get home, you can toss a few quarters in that good karma jar of yours. Next is the blue and yellow reserved viewing areas. These are some of the closest spots to see the show at. So close that you can actually get wet and sometimes really wet if a wind picks up in these areas. They are free. All you need to do is join the virtual queue while you're in either DCA or Disneyland at noon. These reservations won't affect any Genie Plus or Lightning Lane plans you may have going on, and everyone 3 and older must have a spot reserved for them to enter this area. So make sure you have all of your party's tickets loaded on your app to make this an easy process. You will be assigned either to the blue or yellow zone. Usually the blue goes out first. And just because you have a spot in the virtual queue, it doesn't guarantee you any kind of actual spot in the viewing areas. So you'll still need to show up, probably no later than 30 minutes before the show, but I would do 45 minutes to an hour if you wanted a really good spot. I suggest making a party of it. Buy some snacks ahead of time. Maybe stop by San Francisco, pick up a hot chocolate, drinking chocolate, or an ice cream sundae from Ghirardelli. Or pop on by Pixar Pier for a spicy Señor Buzz churro. Or one of those sweet delicious treats from Bing Bong's Sweet Shop. Find yourself an awesome viewing spot, sit down and have yourself a Disney-style picnic while you wait. Play some games, have some good conversations, go through your pictures from the day. There's worse things in life to do than chilling with loved ones in front of the Mickey Mouse wheel. Next, you get into the preferred viewing areas that require some kind of a purchase to access these areas. First, you have the preferred dining packages. I have 2 detailed videos on those, so you can check those out if you'd like. But basically what you do is you make a dining reservation at either the Wine Country Trattoria or the Storytellers Cafe, or starting on November 10th for Magic Key holders, the Magic Key Terrace. All 3 of these dining packages cost the same, and it looks like they just raised the prices to $62 per person for anyone 10 years or older, and $37 for anyone 3 to 9 years old. When you go to dine at any of these locations for lunch or dinner, you let them know that you want to do a dining package, and after you're done dining, you'll receive a ticket for the area. Now this area says to show up 10 minutes before the show, but I would do 15 to 20 minutes to make sure you get a really good spot. Although I'd say there's not a super bad spot in this location. In fact, it's probably my very favorite spot to watch the show. Please note this is still a standing only area, but if you or someone in your group have a wheelchair or an ECV, they have a viewing area with benches available for that, but you'll still need your preferred viewing ticket to access it. I'm going to be honest, it's been difficult to get official Disneyland info on the viewing areas for wheelchairs and ECVs, so I think I'm going to need to do some research and make a video myself. Disney does offer handheld captioning devices as well as audio description devices to help everyone enjoy the show. Those can be picked up at guest services at either the Chamber of Commerce in DCA or the City Hall at Disneyland. And as far as I understand, you can also get access to other wheelchair-friendly locations behind the dessert party and Blue Zone area, but you will still need to join the virtual queue to get access to it. These wheelchair-friendly areas can kind of fluctuate as far as exact location and availability, so just like the other areas, I highly suggest showing up early to get yourself a good spot. And if you don't mind spending $89 a person, no matter the age, you can do the World of Color dessert party, the only viewing area with chairs and tables, and boy do you pay for that privilege. The dessert party starts an hour before the show you've chosen and offers a selection of desserts with some cheese, bread, and fruit as well, and your choice of either alcoholic or non-alcoholic specialty beverages. You'll check in by the Grizzly River Run, where you'll get your wristband and return time. And your viewing location will be right in the center, just right behind the preferred dining area. Now, if you like the idea of sitting and dining while watching The World of Color, but you don't love that price point, there is another option. Dining at the Lamplight Lounge. This requires a bit of early planning because you'll need to wake up early 60 days out to make a reservation at Lamplight Lounge for somewhere between 7:30 and 8 p.m. at night, where you can enjoy drinks, a full menu, or if you want to just share some appetizers or dessert, it's up to you. When the showtime gets closer, you have the option of either paying and leaving, or you can stay and find a seat as close to the water and watch the show from there with no extra cost. It is more of a side and back view of the show, but it is a really special experience to just sit back, sip on a drink, free of crowds, and right down by the water. Really, the hardest part is just securing a dining reservation for the time slot. Now, I've viewed The World of Color from almost every possible location, so to give you a comparison of what I'm talking about, I'll share those views with you now and you can judge for yourself. Of course, I always get the question, is it worth it? And my simple answer is yes. Just the engineering and complexity of how this show is put on is truly amazing to me, and they've done a great job of compiling the sights and the sounds of the show. My favorite thing is the sound of the audience reacting to the show. As someone who used to perform on stage, there is no sweeter sound than the oohs and the ahs and the applause of an audience reacting to a show well done.
No matter who you are or where you're from, you have the power to make a difference. It just takes one.
And I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you like this video. You can even become a member of my club now. I have a lot of fun, exciting stuff coming up and you don't want to miss it, I promise. And if you like this video, you may also like the one on the right hand of your screen there. Thanks for watching and take care.